guys, Dr. YouTube Tucker here. I had brought you that Venezuela story previously. Now I'm bringing you this one. How they're shutting down electrical.
Bell here, keeping you updated with the world around you. But yes, this just came out today. Venezuela has shut down for a week amid electricity crisis and other reasons. And it says the ruling socialists have blamed the shortage on the El Nino weather phenomenon and sabotage by their political foes. And it says in Caracas, Venezuela is shutting down for a week as the government struggles with a deepening electricity crisis. And now, mind you, just about a month ago, I had already reported to you about the food crisis that was going on in Venezuela. But it goes on to say President Nicolas Maduro gave everyone an extra 3 days off work next week, extending the 2-day Easter holiday, according to a statement in the official Gazette published late Tuesday. Maduro had originally said over the weekend that the extended holiday would only apply to state employees. The government has rationed electricity and water supplies across the country for months and urged citizens to avoid waste as Venezuela endures a prolonged drought that has slashed output at hydroelectric dams. The ruling socialists have blamed the shortage on the El Nino weather phenomenon and sabotaged by their political foes, while critics cite a lack of maintenance and poor planning, or just one of them, which is what? Sabotage by their political foes. Who are their political foes? The U.S. government. You got that right. Because what's the agenda? Socialism. But it keeps going. We're hoping, God willing, rains will come, Maduro said in a national address Saturday. Look, the saving is more than 40% when these measures are taken. We're reaching a difficult place that we're trying to manage. Don't you see what's going on here? What is the agenda here? Why are they shutting down? And even more importantly, why is this being released to us just a month after the food crisis? And I'll leave the link below so you can see that there was a food crisis declared by Congress in Venezuela just last month. What is going on? What are they getting ready for? But it goes on to say calling an extended holiday isn't a new innovation in Venezuela's fight against power outages. In 2010, then President Hugo Chavez issued a similar decree adding 3 days to the Easter week holiday. So this is not even the first time that they're doing this. They did it back in 2010. Not only that, but we've been hearing a lot about power outages, haven't we? Because this isn't the first nor the second power outage that has occurred within the past 3 months now. We've heard the first one in Crimea, the second one in Syria, which I did a video for, and now this one in Venezuela. What is going on here? But it goes on to say Venezuela has long suffered rolling blackouts that cripple public services and leave citizens in the dark for days at a time. What are they getting ready for? The extended break seeks to further ease demand on Venezuela's strained power grid and follows a forced reduction of hours at shopping malls and public institutions. During the Holy Week, at least that's what they call it, Venezuelans traditionally abandon the cities, opting for a holiday on the shores of the Caribbean or in the Andean countryside. According to the decree, essential services will continue as normal, and banks and tax collection agencies could adjust their hours accordingly. And then it goes on to talk about the water levels of one of the dams and how it reached critical levels and the problem that ensues. And this actually comes from Bloomberg, and I'm going to leave that report as well. But what is the agenda behind this, and why does this imply martial law, and why does this imply the shutdown, which is even at the door? And if you don't think that this is coming to America, I suggest you open your eyes and think again. Now that was one report from Liveman, but here I am at the Daily Caller as well, and it talks about the same thing. Venezuela shuts down for a week due to water and power crisis. What does this sound like? Anarchy. It says Venezuela is giving the entire country a week off due to a government-created electricity and water crisis. Did you hear that? Government-created. And you don't think that the American government is going to create the same type of crises in America? They're already planning on it, and we already see it. The ships have already stopped moving, but you can keep thinking that they're moving again. You keep thinking that. But it goes on to say Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro will extend the Easter holiday by giving everyone an extra 3 days off work to save power and water, according to a Tuesday statement in the state-run newspaper. The extended Easter holiday is intended to reduce stress on the country's power grid. Yes, that's what they want to do. But it goes on to say the government can ration electricity across the country for months as the hydroelectric reliant country goes through a drought. The ruling Socialist Party blames the lack of water on global warming and sabotage by political blows. Yeah, because they always have to blame it on political warming, don't they? When global warming is just a hoax. While its critics cite a lack of maintenance and poor planning, Venezuela has suffered rolling blackouts which last for days since its socialist government took power in 2002. And you don't think that America is socialist? You don't think that Europe is socialist through the EU? You better think again, because I'm telling you, all of this stuff is coming to America. What's the real plan? This is another test. I hope you're seeing that. Not even a month ago, I reported on Venezuela and the food crisis, and as well as Syria that had a blackout as well. Syria was without power for a couple days too. And now you mean to tell me Venezuela as well? And this comes after a couple months after Crimea. What are we getting ready for? Why all the sudden blackouts and power outages? And by the way, I just did report that that George Soros and the government are funding what? These people in these protests. They're funding these protests to start anarchy in America. And you don't think that they're funding these power outages as well for America? It's another test. They're getting ready to bring all of this to America. And you need to be ready because they are in their final stages of preparing for martial law. I don't know about you, but I've been seeing a ton more of military tents and military equipment on the road. Haven't you? I know I have. I hope you're being observant because they're literally telling you martial law is even at the door. All of this is just a test for America. But are you awoke or are you still sleeping and living in that fantasy which you need to wake up out of right about now? Because here I am at Zero Hedge and it says Venezuela runs out of electricity, will shut down for a week, El Nino blame, because that's what they want to blame it on. But we know it's the same people. It's what the government, it's who the elite, it's who the Jewish Zionists. Why? Because they want the oil in Venezuela. That's why they're there. That's why they're inciting all of this. And they're using the socialism puppets to do so. It's the same thing, just like what they do in the Middle East. The same cause created problems for their created solutions of what? Martial law. It's the same thing. Of course, they're not going to call it martial law. They're not going to put it in your face. Oh, but they will in America soon enough. But it says, when we last checked in on our favorite socialist paradise, Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro's opponents had gone crazy, or at least that's how Maduro described the situation in a thundering speech to supporters at what he called an anti-imperialist rally in Caracas last Sunday. Meanwhile, thousands of demonstrators held counter-rallies calling for the president's ouster. Maduro angered the opposition, which dealt Hugo Chavez's leftist movement its worst defeat of the ballot box in history in December. Last month, when he used the stacked Supreme Court to give himself emergency powers, he says, will help him deal with the country's worsening economic crisis. And it's interesting it mentions that because that's another factor in all this is the economy, is the Bitcoin, is the dollar. What? Money. It's always about the money. It's always about the dollar. It's a lot of political issues going on, a lot of tampering going on, and a lot of what? Just not good things. But are you awoke to this? And if you don't think this is coming to America, I suggest you think again. Now, the report goes on here to talk about the graphs and how the economy in Venezuela has not been improving. It's only getting worse. And the dam situation that's going on, too, and how the hydroelectric dams are at the brink of the collapse for the system. And it's the same with America as well. You better wake up soon enough, because I'm telling you, all of what is going on, they're staging everything. They're staging these storms, they're staging all this chaos, they're staging the weather through heart concern, and they're not just doing it here in America, they're doing it worldwide, folks. And why? Because of world control, Jewish world control by the Zionists, who want the oil in any way they can get it. That's why they're trying to turn everything and everyone.
I'm going to cut it short here, guys. But there you go. Venezuela's running out of power.
Now,